Welcome once again to Cricbuzz Chatter with Dinesh Karthik. Late on the fifth day. Normally, it's very good when a game goes there. We'll talk about all of that here on Cricbuzz Chatter in association with Cricbuzz 11, the fantasy gaming app from the house of Cricbuzz. Fantasy gaming, we had what a test match we had.
This is exactly what Test cricket needs, a good advertisement. Whenever a Test match goes into the fifth day, last hour, that means there's a bang for the buck there. It was a beautiful Test match, high scoring one, a lot for the bat, something for the bowler as well to work with. Overall, beautiful one to watch.
Yeah, we normally say a good pitch is one. You said last hour. We normally okay around T. If you can take a game up to T uh, on the last day, it was a result that England will be very happy with. I must confess, I was sneaking admiration for Ben Stokes. I don't know him well enough as a person, but I just think the positivity and the optimism on the field. Michael Atherton asked him at any point, did you think putting the opposition? I said, no, no. I said, why are you asking me? And their principle is we'll let the game play out for 4 days, and then in the end we'll see what we've got to chase. And they just back themselves to chase the runs.
They have to be one of the strongest
Yeah.
batting lineups in the world of Test cricket today, without
Easily,
a shadow of
easily.
doubt, because they go aggressively up top, and then they have a middle order which has good names but also very effective players. But the most important part, the baseball when it started was all about slam bang. This Test match they played cleverly.
Yes.
They understood conditions, attacked when necessary, but also defended if it meant to be. Like a great example is last evening when they felt I don't need to go too hard now, so they played in a very measured manner. When the opportunity came, they went bang. Now that's
How
what
did it
good
go?
batting teams do.
Yeah. All of us from the South, we use special effects to exaggerate the emotion. Like if something's long, as you know, we've often talked about, if something's long, it's not very long, it's long, but
Correct.
slow. And like today it was bang. But he makes a very valid point. All that nonsense that we were hearing about how we are going to bat. We're going to talk at some length about Ben Duckett. But I thought the transformation came in Zach Crawley,
Mhm.
in that he played very close to the body. It was a more adept innings than some of his others that we have seen. The reason you can play those innings, I mean, he made 65 126 balls. It was innings that started, was dominated by Ben Duckett, who played one of the extraordinary innings, but he played with his hands close to his body. And you know why they can do that in this country very well?
Because it's very cold outside.
Have you had a shower in the shower cubicles here? You cannot move your hand. If you do that, your elbow hits the side. If you do this elbow hits the side. So I was having a shower today, and I thought if I was batting in England, my hands would always be very close to my body
So you think if you're a batsman, you would have practiced in the shower?
because your hands never go far away from you. They're always so close.
For all young boys and girls out there are a lot of things Harsha says which makes a lot of sense. This one drill that he is probably visualizing and wanting you all to do, don't try.
No, on a more serious note, when you're chasing 371 to win, and when your openers bat the way Crawley and Duckett did, remember there's nine others sitting in the change room, and however calm they might look, they are actually tense. And then when your openers bat like that, they just settle it for everybody.
It was for a partnership that was laced with a lot of aggressive stroke play, but also very stoic defense if it required. At different moment, different passages of play, they were very clever with how they went about it. Last evening they were clever. This morning, that spell from Bumrah and Siraj, I thought they played very nicely.
Yes.
They were very controlled. They understood that probably the ball is not there to be hit if it is not meant to be. Wait. And they did that nicely. So I really enjoyed their openers amongst all openers in the history of cricket. These two have just got 2,000 together, but the startling fact is they average 5 and over throughout their partnership.
I mean, that's the other awesome thing about this test match. Throughout the test match, both sides aggregate put together. This entire test match was played at over 4 and over. Today, it was my favorite batsman in the England side. Somehow, I'm always this underdog person. There's a lot of posh batters in this side.
Correct.
Harry Brook is posh. Joe Root is posh. Zach Crawley is posh. Ollie Pope is posh. And then there's this little man who's like a boxer. He's quick on the front foot, excellent on the back foot. He's cutting. Sometimes he hits the hardest cover drive to short extra cover. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he comes back and plays extraordinary shots. I thought his attack against Jadeja was one of the highlights of the day for me, the reverse sweeping Jadeja.
Look, I think he should be spoken in the conversation when you speak of the next Fab Four or Fab Five, because he's an all format player, very adept at playing all three formats. Look at how good he is around. They have highlighted only two areas there, square on the offside and probably for the cover drive. But if you look at the whole wagon wheel, there is not a place in the ground that he has not scored.
I like the 20 down the ground as well because he's that kind of player. You look at him and you think he's a square hitter.
Correct.
And there's 40 runs down the ground. Now, with most left-handers, when you see those scores on the offside, you think, oh, beautiful. I always wanted to be a left-hand batter growing up because they're just so stylish through the offside. Sort of Ganguly, stylish through the offside. Those runs have come with this shot, not with this shot.
Correct. Yeah. It's interesting because if you do look at the value, you'll think he'll play a lot of cuts, but you're absolutely right. When you play unorthodox shots, before it used to surprise and startle bowlers because they're bowling a certain area, you just bring it out when they're not aware. Now the bowler knows he's going to play the reverse sweep, and after that, for you to still execute an unorthodox shot means he has immense control of it. That is something that is slowly but steadily creeped into a lot of international players who play varied formats. You have to learn how to do a paddle, how to play the reverse sweep, how to play the switch hit, whatever. And I was not, you're pointing fingers at me, but Ben Duckett.
No, all these new shots that you've learned.
But Ben Duckett was a sight to watch, Harsha, because what he did today was domination.
Yes.
Of the purest form of the game in the most clever manner. When it meant to be defended, he did. A Bumrah spell, he did. He was ready to attack if anything was given. But when the spinner, day 5 rough there, the way he just played with Jadeja and Shubman Gill saying, no matter where you put a field, I'm going to play that shot. 6 over covers playing a switch hitter.
That was a real unbelievable shot.
Yeah, I mean, and even with the deep point, the shot that he got the 100 with, just to the left of Prasidh Krishna, maybe 5 meters, and the speed at which it went tells you that he is very confident of his shot. I remember coming before the England series, they did an interview and he said, I've got quite a few different types of sweeps. I don't know the number exactly.
I heard you on air and I was astonished at how quickly you went from 100 different sweeps to 20 different.
Yeah, I just thought
20 is a lot anyway.
Yeah, I was just thinking 100 just sounds wrong. And I say, just letting down Ben Duckett because I don't think you would have said 100. He's not that silly as well. But I think 20 could have been a fair number to him. But I still don't know the number. I'm guessing.
I'm going to say this in your favor. He hit one front of square.
Yeah.
That 6 almost was front of square. He was sweeping a lot behind square. He played one shot that went very fine to fine leg. He had a reverse sweep to fine leg as well. So he's got a range in his reverse sweep. The only other person left-hander I know who had this kind of range, I think, was Andy Flower all those years ago. He was ahead of his time. Your current best friend, your current good friend, Andy Flower as well.
I remember speaking with Andy Flower as well. Like, how did you think of playing that reverse sweep so ahead of your time? He said Dave Horton told him that this is an option that he could use, and because he was a keeper, he had nice low hands and he got into good positions to play it. And he used to play it in ODI cricket as well. He troubled Shane Warne playing that shot. He definitely troubled India every time he came to India. He's beautiful. It's interesting. A lot of such interesting weird shots at the outset has come from Zimbabwe. Andy Flower reverse sweep, Douglas Murray the lap sweep. Yeah. So anyway, Coming back to England.
Could Jadeja have done anything different? Did he take too long to bowl into the rough? Was he too straight early on?
He was, and that baffles me because for a man with so much experience, he knows what it means to bowl in the rough. So he should have gone wide of the wicket and tried and bowl into the rough very early on. I could understand the field. It was very confusing to set a field for Duckett because not many spinners can bowl without a mid-off. They kept a wide extra cover, but actually they didn't need a wide extra cover. They needed a proper sweeper cover and leave the whole offside free. But they needed the sweeper cover on the boundary line because it was impossible to stop Ben Duckett from not playing that shot. There's no point giving him a 4 there. And that is a mistake that they made. But that I can understand because it's a very unique field if they had set it. But he should have gone to that left arm over, bowling wide of the crease into the rough quite early in the day.
Duckett was absolutely fantastic. It was exciting to watch Ben Duckett, much like the contest on the Cricbuzz 11 app, right? So download it. You can play it for just ₹1 and have as much fun as I keep telling you. I love the fantasy game. But just to put Ben Duckett's achievement in perspective, there was Zach Crawley at the other end, great opening partnership. Pope went early. Root was nowhere near his best. He's a far better player. He's still got a 4th innings half century, by the way, but he's a better player than that. Ben Stokes looked like he decided I'm going to reverse sweep come what may. I thought you could have been out on any ball. Brook got a duck. I like Jamie Smith, by the way. Oh, sorry, did I come too hard? I suddenly thought I might forget that point. I like Jamie Smith. I just find there's a calmness. He hits so clean.
It's a good word that you're using, calm. Because I asked Stuart Broad, what is he like in the
Yeah.
dressing room? And he's a very quiet, calm lad.
And
He came
he
in.
looks like a young boy when you see that picture that comes up.
I don't know whether he realized that he needed 60 runs to get, and there was a lot of pressure in the game because he just batted like a normal dead defense center of the bat. And when a cut ball was given, he cut it. And towards the end, when he knew there was very little runs, he just went bang, bang, bang. Thank you for coming.
They're backing him big time. Now, here's something interesting that England have done. Sometimes it's very easy to run down what this team has done. They picked players on what their eyes were telling them. And the eyes were telling them that Jamie Smith is far too good a batter not to be in that England side. He wasn't keeping for his county side. But they said his keeping is good enough. Doesn't matter. We're looking at that kind of person that we want. And they picked him as a keeper batter when he wasn't keeping for his stay.
Sorry, that's
So sorry. They pick Shoaib Bashir over someone else. They go by what they see, and when it comes off dramatically. I mean, him batting at 7, he'll be one of the best number 7 batters.
for sure. He has all the shots. He's now playing all the formats, if I'm right. You can see Brendan McCullum loves him, backs him,
Yeah.
and they believe he could be the next big thing, along with Jacob Bethel, Harry Brook, and Ben Duckett. So the England batting is frighteningly good. That's a fact. And that's going to actually dictate a lot of the decisions taken by Team India. We'll come to that. But for the moment, Jamie Smith is a bona fide superstar in in the workings of becoming one of England's best, for sure, if not the world's best soon enough.
No doubt. I mean, Australian batting is going through a free fall at the moment. I think. I mean, might say I'm a strong word, but Australia's batting, they desperately need talent. I do not see talent in their first class game. India's going through a transformation. Pakistan, you never know. I don't think anyone's on par with England at the moment. 370 is a tough chase. As a bowling side, you should back yourself to win 370 on the last day.
Correct.
What did India do wrong? I mean, we talked about how clever England were, how adept they were. What could India have done better, in your view?
First thing, Harsha, I don't think we genuinely have the skill set beyond a certain bowlers who can actually make inroads. That's a fact.
I'm glad you said it.
Number two, so you can't be too hard on the Indian team. They'll also find bowlers eventually and they will start defending these scores. The nature of the game has changed a lot. Before, Test cricket would mean if some batter gets going, you can shut down for small periods of time, either bowling outside the off stump or bowling in the rough outside the leg stump, keep bowling negatively. Now that has gone off the boil. People play such extravagant shots, such unorthodox shots. You literally can't shut down a game for certain periods of time, which is a massive issue when you are trying to defend the total. Because if you're coming close to a new ball and you want 10, 12 overs of part-timers, gone are those days. They take on those kind of spells if you try bowling them. Now, the second thing is Bumrah and Siraj bowled a high-quality first spell. 12 overs for 26 runs, 13 overs for 26 runs, and just set it up. Okay, they didn't get a wicket, but they set it up. But soon after, Prasidh and Shardul came and gave 55 runs in the next 9 overs. Shardul and Prasidh didn't bowl consistent lengths. What did Bumrah and Prasidh do to create pressure? They hit the right links and stayed there for consistent periods of time. Whereas when I looked at Shardul and Prasidh's pitch map, it was a bit of a scattergun. It was all over the place. And can't be that can't be true at that point of time after the pressure that was created by these two bowlers, that it was released, the pressure, and that played into England's hands.
You know, sometimes when you hear a hypothesis, like you come up with an observation, and then the numbers have actually justified that before the start of the series. When India were doing very, very well between 2018 and 2021, the difference in effectiveness between those bowling the new ball and those bowling behind the new ball was not very large. Difference in bowling average was about zero point 0.5, zero point 0.6 here and there. Post 2021, the new ball is averaging about 23, 24. The bowling behind the new ball is averaging about 38 and conceding at 4 and over. So the difference between what the new ball is doing and what the support cast, for want of a better word, is doing is very strong. And I think that is where you're missing a Shami at his peak. Everyone talks about who you're missing. I think India missing Shami at his peak, but he makes a very, very valid point. And since we are going to be looking ahead at some point very quickly on this program, do you have people who can sustain that pressure that the new ball is creating? And sometimes it can become frustrating for Jasprit Bumrah. I just thought today watching him, and I'm not an expert in these matters, it's trying too hard to get a wicket because he wasn't sure where the next one's coming from. Did you get that feeling, or did you just think he was a little tired? Or did he just play him well? There was nothing in the track for him, they just played him well.
So they did play him well, but he
Mm.
did try too hard, and that comes out of a certain personal feeling wanting to do well
Mm.
for the Indian team, but also knowing that
Mm.
he needs to do it for Indian team. There's a small difference there, it's subtle, because he realizes that if he gets a wicket, it's going to help the others who are coming in because they don't have the experience as much as him. And being the world champion that he is, he almost puts more pressure on himself wanting to pick those wickets. So he tries that much harder. For example, what would that mean? Instead of trying to swing it just around off stump, he'd go, let me try and swing it from leg stump to get that beauty. And sometimes you go straighter than what you need to be.
That's
And
why
a few
a
runs
couple of
go.
those shots.
And that's what happened a couple of times. It's very understandable.
Mm.
And that's why the supporting cast need to just plug in where he also has some breathing space to go back and say, okay, these guys have picked up a couple of wickets. All I need to do is come and keep things tight, hit
Yeah.
length hard, and things will happen. That is not his mindset. It is like, okay, this guy's batting. What should I do now? How am I going to get this guy's wicket? Let me go for a bouncer. Let me go for that booming outswinger. The thought process shifts a bit.
Yeah, and to think that quite extraordinarily, India had 500s in this game, 5 centuries in this game. The number of runs India scored to lose a match, it's not a number that you want to look at very carefully. It's not a number that you want to be very proud of, but there it is. And if you look at when England won those games, a lot of those games, we are looking at June 22 when they beat New Zealand. December 22, that was against Pakistan, 847. I think they made 500 runs in that series at one point. And now here in this series where India scored so many runs and still lost. And I think that's a bit worrisome. I don't think Shubman Gill can look back and say we didn't have enough runs on the board. It was really about the bowling. We're going to be looking ahead, but first, like I enjoy doing, hotspot. Many reasons why India could have lost this game. You have to admit it. The better side won. Sometimes we don't give the other side enough credit, but I think we have already this evening. There are two things that were worrisome. Which of them worried you more? 13 wickets for 72. When you make 430, I know sometimes the lower order won't contribute that much, but you expect to go to 550. Second innings as well, I think Shubman said in the post-match conference that they were thinking of setting 430 to win. And he said next thing we know was that 25 runs, the innings is over. So 13 wickets for 72. Did that worry you more? Or the catches that kept going down? I mean, there were too many. I tried telling people that Yashasvi is a good fielder, and they look at me and say, what have you been smoking? But so, was it the fielding? Was it the 13 for 72?
It's only fair to say a bit of both, isn't it?
Hmm?
And when you speak about the collapse, I'm not going to talk about the guys who got out in that collapse. I'm going to talk about the choice of shots, about the set batters. That makes a big
Hmm?
difference
Hmm?
because in England, when you're set, you need to take it for as long as you can. That is an attitude thing. After a point, when you're batting in England, it's not about batting beautifully. It's about the hunger you have, knowing what the bigger picture is. That is very important. Even in international cricket, catches, yes, it's very worrisome, but it is not a problem that will keep occurring, I feel. And also,
Hopefully.
this performance will put pressure on the fielding coach. You know, he's been reinstated in his post, Mr. Dilip Kumar, and he knows he's seen better days. He's seen Indian team feel better.
Yes.
India has not had
Was
as
that-
bad a game in 5 years.
Was there a stat that no visiting team has come to England and dropped as many catches as these in a test match? Something like that?
I'm not aware of it,
Hmm.
but this is India's poorest fielding performance
Yeah.
in 5 years.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
and it's some good fielders dropping catches. Yashasvi is actually quite a safe hands at gully. He's taken some blinders. Jadeja missing one. Pant, I thought the catch that he dropped. Those all came back to definitely bite
So the
India.
catching more for you than the batting? More worrisome? Which of? Because I put you in the hot spot. You can't just wiggle out of a hot spot
catching,
like that.
the
You have to
catching.
look like you're in the hot spot and think and worry about being in the hot spot.
Catching.
Catching, né?
Yeah, one too many.
Yeah, way too many. My concern was, I don't know, I thought the 13 for 72, a little bit more. So there was a difference between the two sides. England lose 5 wickets, is still batting to come. Lose 6 wickets, they're still batting to come. I actually thought both sides bowled poorly in this game, and England have a few issues as well to sort because they have conceded a lot of runs. They conceded 500s too, so there was something on both sides. Okay, time to go fast forward. We talked about the major areas of concern. Now you've got to address those areas of concern. There's two, three things to address. One is, do you get a wrist spinner and try and take more wickets, even if it means on paper diluting number 8 a little bit more? But do you go in with Kuldeep Yadav for, say, a Shardul Thakur? Say, I've got 3 quicks and then I'll play 2 spinners. So is that one? Second, we don't know which of the three Bumrahs, which of the two Bumrahs going to sit out of. If Bumrah is not playing the second, then do you get in Arshdeep or Akashdeep? Those are the factors. I would like to think that Karun Nair and Sai Sudarshan get another game. So what are you looking at from that test?
A lot of what you said. First of all, we need to see if Bumrah is playing. I doubt Bumrah wants to play in Edgbaston. I would think that he'd wait
and
play
the third test
match. Yeah, it is very flat and it gives his body more time. He's bowled a lot of overs this game as well. The more, the better for him. So I would like to think he would like to play in Lords as well. I mean, it's quite a nice ground and it's got so much history. So that is one. But it's not about what he wants to do, what the team feels he has to do as well. If they feel that there's no point going to Lords 2-0, might as well try and go 1-1, gives us a better chance. That is the decision that they need to take and a conversation that they will be having. Now we need to look at both those contingencies. What happens if Bumrah is not playing? What happens if Bumrah is playing? That's the first thing. Now when Bumrah is playing, then I think you have to look at definitely 3 fast bowlers, which would mean you need to see if Prasid, you want to keep looking at Prasid, or do you want to bring in a young boy, Arshdeep, or a Harshit Rana, or an Akashdeep? So, all 3 options are available for you. I personally also feel India have a massive decision to make. It's everything about England tells you that you don't need to play more than 1 spinner. Now, if you're going to play 2 spinners, then that genuinely weakens your batting. So that is a big decision as well. So are you going to be still looking at Nitish Reddy at number 8, which means just 3 bowlers, or Nitish Reddy at 7? Then where does Jadeja go in that picture? So there are many questions for India to ask. And I think as I sit here, they need to be very sure of one thing. They can't think what England will do, because what England are doing are very simple. They have picked, even if it's an ordinary bowling, they are saying, you give us whatever you want to chase on day 5, we will back ourselves to do it. So then you have to think, what can I do to pick 20 wickets? That is the most important thing. Now, instead of Shardul Thakur, you have 2 players here actually, Ravindra Jadeja and Shardul Thakur. And why I bring Ravindra Jadeja in the picture is, if you bring Nitish Reddy in and then you play Kuldeep Yadav, so you then have a fast bowling all-rounder Nitish and Kuldeep as the lone spinner. It's very hard on Ravindra Jadeja, to be honest, because he is obviously the elder statesman. He's been around for so long. To make a decision like this is probably unfair. Then if you're going with Ravindra Jadeja, then you will have Kuldeep at 8 and 3 fast bowlers. Are you going to be happy with 2 spinners and just 3 fast bowlers on day 1? If you lose, if you do win the toss and choose to bowl, are you okay doing that?
I think he's all right to bowl 10, 12 overs, Nitish Reddy. I think he's all right to bowl 8, 10 overs in the day.
In the 11 that I've said, the second one, if Jadeja is there and Kuldeep is there, then you
don't have the
so you have 2 spinners.
Yes.
And if you put them into that,
in the days gone by, India won test matches here in England, playing 2+2.
Correct.
But the 2 were Harbhajan and Kumble. I mean, there's some discussion going on. What if Anil Kumble was your spinner on this track? Would he have given you 5 wickets on the last day on slightly varying surface? You don't know. But you had that pedigree of spinners.
Look, the one thing that you get with the Jadeja is experience. And that's something you don't get with Kuldeep, because in all fairness, he's played a lot of white ball cricket.
He's only 13 tests or something,
13 tests and not too much first class cricket either. But the fact is that Jadeja did give you control when he bowled in the first innings.
So which of those 2 options? At this stage, I mean, you've still got 6 or 7 days. Let's be honest. It's very recent. But top of your head, which are the 2 options that you like?
I do feel India will definitely, because they would want to bowl first and not give England the opportunity to bat first, they'll go with 4 pacers, which would mean Nitish Reddy has a bright chance to come in. But I also think they need to look at playing probably 4 proper fast bowlers and Jadeja at 7. So that gives them 4 wicket-taking options, which could be, if Bumrah is not playing, we're thinking about Siraj, Prasid, Arshdeep, Akashdeep. That looks, a team that could probably have 4 good fast bowling options and 7. You can't be worried about the depth of your batting and not have enough bowling to.
Yeah, because that's an illusion sometimes, that if you have 4 genuinely good bowlers, then they will prevent the other side from scoring runs, and therefore that in a way makes up for you not scoring enough runs because you're getting them out. So, talked about India. England have one option coming up. I think Jofra Archer bowled 18 overs today for Sussex. 18 overs, 1 for 32. Jofra Archer for a Josh Tongue. They liked the fact that Tongue went through the tail pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Stokes stocked him up quite a bit.
I think that's what they'll do. They'll back experience. Chris Woakes batting at 8 also gives them a little bit of
Yes.
depth. So they'll probably go for Jofra Archer for Josh Tongue, and that'll be the only change that they have if Jofra Archer is fit to play the next test.
Play the entire test match.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, with England, the advantage is they've got a genuine number 6 who can give you 15 overs and take wickets in Ben Stokes. I actually thought Ben Stokes was England's best bowler in this test match.
I think that's a very fair comment to make.
Yeah. Right, fewer problems for England. It's always like that. When teams come to India, the balance is so much better. When with Ashwin and Jadeja, whether you're playing Akshar, whether you're playing Washington, they're all spin bowling all rounders. It becomes so much easier. That's why winning away is so much more creditable. Right, so there you are. England have won that. England have won that first test. There's still a long way to go, by the way. That's a big part of playing 5 games. For all those of you guys, you can still play. There's a long series ahead of you. If you haven't already downloaded the Cricbuzz 11 app, go and do it. It's 100% winners on the Cricbuzz 11 app. For all of you, play with just ₹1. ₹1. What do you get for ₹1? What do you get for £1? We're in England here, £1. His starter costs £22. By the time he decides and picks a cab to go around every restaurant that he likes, that's another £30 for him. And now he's going back to England. You're going back to London?
London, yes.
Back with family?
Yes.
Looking forward to being with the...
Yeah, really looking forward to. I've been away for about 5 days now.
I overheard and I quickly went out. But you know, DK can be very straight, direct, to the point. And then when he talks to his voice, oh, DK, I heard that voice. I heard that voice. I can tell when you're talking to Deepika and I can tell when you're talking to the voice. Must be a lovely feeling.
No, it is very good because we enjoy this summer, rather every summer that we are here in London. We are blessed to be here, but it's been good. And you have a flight as well tomorrow? Quick flight and back.
Yes, quick back. You know, when you get to my age, you want to be home as often as you can. So there you are. I hope you enjoyed watching Cricbuzz Chatter with the two of us. Cricbuzz Chatter will, of course, come back for the second test match from Edgbaston. So do join in. Cricbuzz Chatter brought to you in association with Cricbuzz 11, the fantasy gaming app from the house of Cricbuzz. So we'll see you in the next test match. I don't know. Do you think it'll go this deep?
No, I really didn't.
It was a new experience for me to come to the 5th day of a test match, I'll be honest. I haven't been for a long time.
It was worth it. It was really good.
It was a good game. I'm told Birmingham is flat too. We'll wait and see. See you from Birmingham.